Health-wise, everyone's available and is a go. No game time decisions.
Go to questions, Gavin. Saw you first.
Hey, Dan, what do you remember from last year's game? Obviously, you weren't there, but just the way everything went down.
Well, just a tough week. It's just really, really tough week. The St. John's game at home. For me personally, turning 50, getting COVID, feeling really sick. Watching the end of that game, feeling even sicker. For everybody, just that was a tough week. But just like all adversity, if you learn from it and you're really, really strong, I truly believe that all those tough times in January, gave us that championship. Our will was tested, our soul as a team was tested, and eventually, I think all that made us a lot stronger as a group, and gave us the strength as a unit to go on and become the champs.
Thanks.
Go to Dave.
Dan, obviously you faced Shaheen at St. Peter's, and I know they played a pretty tough game against you guys a few years ago. What do you expect from him as the kind of game his teams are going to play? What do you expect from a Shaheen coach team tomorrow night?
Yeah, Shaheen is one of my favorite people in the business. We've both played our high school ball in North Jersey at big time places, and played our college ball in the same place. And both of us, we're not born on third base and coaching. Most of the early part of our careers, we were high school coaches, so we both were low major coaches before we got opportunities at higher levels. So he's to watch his teams play because everything out of them. And they play relentlessly hard, and they reflect just how hard he works as a coach, and they play with a lot of substance, and that's obviously that's impressive.
Go to Adam next.
Hey, Dan, what have you seen from Pirates, especially in this game where Usu had a big game and all five of their starters scored? What have you seen of them recently? And generally, is it, how tough is it to recruit and win at Seton Hall compared to a place like UConn? I mean, obviously you're not the coach there, but the resources and facilities and stuff are not the same as a lot of Big East schools.
Yeah, with them, their starting five is very experienced. You're talking about either fourth year seniors or fifth year players or fifth year seniors. So, and then Diawusu, who's been in our league for a while. So, an older, really veteran, veteran group that really shot it well and had their best game of the season offensively versus Missouri. They've been right there. They've obviously, really competitive in the Baylor game. Made big comebacks in the USC and Iowa games, but dug too big a hole. So a team it's going to be a tough game. This is conference play. Conference play is very different than non-conference and the NCAA tournament. The teams, there's just a familiarity and, it's something about conference play where you could throw a lot of things out the window. And then, all jobs have their challenges. I don't really know the specifics. But with, I don't know to do much to his resources. But I got a lot of love for Seton Hall. When I'm done at UConn and from out of the Big East, and it's I will give to NIL at Seton Hall. I'm saying that on the record right now.
Do you hope that they're, I mean, outside of this game, do you root for them and hope that they do well and, potentially make the NCAA tournament?
I always root for Seton Hall. I root for everyone in the Big East and the non-conference. The worst thing that we could do to each other is come into the league with bad nets and, quad 3, quad 4. Those games just really hurt the league. So the best thing that we could do for each other is perform at a high level in the non-conference. Get big non-conference wins versus other leagues, and not do damage to each other by coming in with bad numbers, and then we start knocking each other off, like happens in conference play, and really ends up hurting seeding and teams getting into the tournament. So obviously, I root hard for every Big East team in the non-conference selfishly because it's great for the league, and obviously we've come in with a net of 1 last year and a net of 5 this year, and but we had to earn that by winning big non-conference games in neutral places. And Seton Hall, I sent my oldest son there. I met my wife there. As you get older, you realize how much a place helped you in your maturation process as a man. How you felt when you were 20 or in your 20s or in your 30s changes a lot as you grow out of being young and dumb.
Thanks, buddy. See you tomorrow.
All right, buddy.
Go to Joe next.
Hey, Dan, I know you talk about turning the page on the non-conference season. How much of, those wins over Gonzaga, North Carolina, do you sort of carry into the Big East? And how much does, the flip switch, I know you call it a new season. Just how much does it change?
Yeah, I think in the back of our minds, just like last year, going into, obviously we've got to, qualify for the NCAA tournament by winning enough games. I think we do have the benefit of, in a very similar way to last year, we're going to go into the next time we start playing non-conference opponents, hopefully in March, we're going to carry the same confidence into next year, into this year's NCAA tournament that we carried into last year because of the way we've performed in the non-conference. We know that the way we play, the way that we play really fits tournament-style basketball, the unique style and what we do offensively and defensively and on the backboard. But the Big East and conference plays a different animal, and we've got to show the toughness and. We can't give. If you want to win the Big East regular season, you've obviously you can't afford to lose too many games.
And what is your message to the team as you start Big East play? Obviously, a lot of the guys went through what you went through last year, and a lot of them haven't played in the Big East yet.
Yeah, it's just the toughness that's required, the mentality. nasty, the nasty mentality that you've got to take with you, especially on the road. But overall, the conference season, the familiarity, the road environments in the Big East. I mean, they're some of the toughest places to play. Then for us, we get, I think we're going to get the absolute best version of people when we play. We're the reigning NCAA champions, and we've got a top 5 ranking. So when we come into people's arenas, we're gonna give people their best home environment. We're gonna get the other team's absolute best performance. So it's harder for us to win to win games because of all that we're bringing in. So we've got to be even better, even sharper, better prepared, more together. All those things.
Go to Roger.
And do you feel that you're the best prepared that you ever have been going into the Big East? I mean, you guys have, especially 1-4 in Big East openers. You feel you're better prepared than you have been the last few years?
Yeah, it's probably just not something that thought about much. I would say that just playing the 5 games that we did play, none of them were at home. The Seattle game, there were 17,000 people in Seattle for the Gonzaga game, and I think there might have been maybe might have had 100 UConn people behind the bench. So that was a road atmosphere that we played in, and obviously we played Kansas, and those neutral site games at MSG where we didn't really get the benefit of the crutch of playing in our home place. So I think we played a bunch of really, really talented top level, top flight programs, and I think the fact that we didn't play any of them at home, I think is going to be beneficial to us on the road this year.
What's the Big East mean to you? It seems like it's perfectly suited for your personality and where you want your team to be.
Yeah, I think it's great coaches. I think it's some of the best coaches in the game. All just great, universities that that really prioritize basketball. I think it's all fan bases whose primary passion is the basketball team, and it's so much history that we're all so lucky to be a part of, and going to play at a place like Seton Hall, and some of the giants in college basketball, Bill Raftery, and DJ Colosimo, and obviously the Final Four team. Each school in the league has got incredible history.
We'll go to Gavin to wrap it up.
Dan, what are your impressions of the league overall coming off the non-conference season?
So probably getting more familiar with it right now. I think obviously Marquette did just an awesome job with just getting some huge wins for the league and coming in with great numbers that really helps all of us, and same thing with Creighton. I think what the three of us were able to do with the net and with the Ken Palm and those types of metrics. It's just for a league that's trying to get as many teams in and get seeded as high as we can. The overall strength of the league is so important. obviously you see the potential, that Providence has with the, really talented team and a really impressive, impressive coach, and returning some great pieces. Where I think obviously has done, has had a great non-conference, a talented team, and then like really, really, really an older team, but with some really talented players and deep. I mean, maybe one of the deepest teams you've seen in terms of just having like a high level of talent, all the way up through 12 in their roster. The Seton Hall team goes on the road and wins at Missouri, and Xavier obviously is one of the best coach teams in the country, and obviously is adjusting to like a decimated front court of two, maybe one of the best 4 and 5 man combinations returning to the league. And those two guys aren't available to them, so they've had some brutal luck. But and then obviously Georgetown, you can see what Ed's doing. I'm not sure if I missed anybody. I don't.
DePaul's the only team.
DePaul, yeah. I mean, DePaul, that's just a place where they're trying to rebuild that thing, and obviously progress isn't always linear. But yeah, I think the league it's going to be brutal, man. It's conference play in the Big East, familiarity, really hard places to play. These games are so physical. Hopefully they get officiated, more like more like the non-conference and more like the NCAA tournament. So it prepares us as a league for for that. But yeah, I mean, it's every game's hard to win.
Thank you.
Like Mike snuck in, so we'll take one more from Mike and then be done.
Thanks. Dan, moving forward with scheduling, I know you have Maui next year. I'm wondering would you be open to more true home and homes, like getting a couple high-profile non-conference opponents for either Stores, Hartford? I say that understanding that there's great value in MSG and in all the other places you guys have been as well.
Yeah, you do these things out ahead of time, Mike, and I think when some of these things were coming, coming to fruition, games, we weren't entirely sure what the roster would look like, and when you're trying to measure how good the league's going to be in a given year, on whether you play 5 high major games or 6 high major games, or however you want that to play out. Obviously, we figured some things out pretty well in terms of having good resume wins and also having a net average of the last 2 years of coming into conference play with a 2.5 net the last 2 years. So obviously we're doing some things right there, but yeah, I think next year the Big 12, that becomes a home game for us. So you're going to have the high major game, returning. We got the 3 in Maui. We play, Gonzaga and MSG, and then I think we'll probably be, if the Big Ten is going to be back on, then hopefully we'll be on the road there. If not, we'd like to start a road series. Not be doing that with Bryant. I'm looking for a high major, big time road series, maybe a 2 or 4 year deal with somebody of our status in college right now. So yes.
Just a quick follow-up, Dan.
Yeah.
apologies because this doesn't have anything to do with Seton Hall or playing on the road either. But the crowds, the home crowds have been great. I mean, they're going to come out to see a good product, which you've built there. It'll be a wild scene Saturday. Your thoughts on the crowds having grown, versus what you saw in the building year one, year two. It's pretty striking.
Yeah, I think that that's why I've loved these. I love rebuilds. I love these types of jobs. You take over Wagner, and it's kind of the same. There's nobody there, no one cares. You work your absolute ass off in recruiting and culture building and developing tactics and a mindset that can win, and now you build a fan base or you rebuild a fan base. So, just having done this in obviously a couple places, Wagner, you go to Rhodey, and again, it's like limited interest too. When you leave the place, you're playing in front of sellouts every night, and you've painted the state, Rhodey, Keeney blue. And then, we remember those games, Tulane at Gamble and, Tulsa at the XL, and, even playing great teams and getting 8,000 at the XL Center for like a top 10 Houston. Those are, the climb back up the mountain is a lot of fun. I think, you do have an appreciation for things like that, playing, having, I think, every game sold out potentially already, or like just having the interest in our program that we have, both in the state of Connecticut, our fan base, nationally. We've had to earn it, by winning, winning national championship, winning our people back over, winning our fans back over. We don't just get some status because of our history. Our fans, and I think it's a Northeastern thing too, man. People make you earn it from them, or else they'll just go do something else.